Hi there friends, it's Amanda here from Fun Hands-On Learning. And today I'd like to show you the activities that I have prepared for the next few weeks. So these activities are going to be geared more towards preschool and toddler years. We'll get into them. I have some counting, some alphabet. Yeah, so if you're interested, stay tuned. Here we go. Okay, this first activity here is a counting activity. Now, when I first created this activity, I created it more for kindergarten age or first grade because it is actually supposed to be for skip counting. Skip counting by 2s, 5s, and 10s. But I'm going to adapt this activity for my preschoolers and toddlers by just counting by 1s. So if you have an older student, what you would normally do is they would take a strip, and these are spring themed. This is a springy Easter themed activity. So it's got chicks and bunnies and eggs and things like that. But I wanted to adapt it for my younger ones. Now what you would normally do is this one says count by 2s. And so as you see, each of these bunnies has 2 carrots, and so they would normally count 2, 4, 6, 8, and then they would use a dry erase marker to write 8. And then the same thing with these chicks. This one says count by 5, so they would count, because each chick has 5 eggs, so they would count 5, 10, 15, 20, and they would write 20. So that is originally how this activity was designed. And I'm sorry if my camera seems to be going out of focus. So that's originally how this activity was to be designed, was to be counting by skip counting. But what I'm going to use this for is just counting by 1s. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him, he'll take a strip, and we're just going to count the bunnies. And we're not going to count by 2s. We're just going to count by 1s. And we're going to just use some little manipulatives to do this. So I have some Eastery, springy themed manipulatives that we can use. So I'm going to show you those real quick. Okay, we have a few different options here. This little basket has some bunnies and chicks and their little finger puppets, and we can use those to set on top of our bunnies and count them like this. So we can do, so I will have him take them and say 1, 2, 3, 4. How many bunnies? 4 bunnies. Very good. And then right here in the box where it says how many, I'm going to have him use his little blocks. So here's the number 4 block. I'll have him find, here, let me show you. Get you a better view of that. So here are the blocks. They're just in this little container. I actually also have some number bean bags here as well, but we're going to use the blocks, and then he has to find the number 4 because he counted to 4. And then what he's going to do is he's going to place the number 4 right there in the square. So that's what we're going to do. So then we would be done with that one, and he could go on to the chicks. So here we have, and I actually have some little chicks in here, so he could use those. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is 4 as well. And then of course he would find his number 4 block. Now, I have other pictures in here. Let me just kind of show you. All right, so we have, just some baskets. And instead of counting by 5s, because there's 5 eggs in each basket, obviously we're not doing the skip counting, so we're going to count 1, 2, 3, and so on. Now, we can use, I have other manipulatives we can use as well, so let me show you that. All right, so if we were going to do this one, we might use, I actually have some cute other little toys here. These are some bunnies dressed up like sheep. Or no, it's a sheep dressed up like a bunny, I guess. And a frog dressed up like a bunny. And a chick dressed up like a bunny. So we've got those in here we can use. I also have just some little eggs. By the way, I got all these little baskets. Aren't they cute? I got them at the dollar store. And so I just have these little pokey eggs that we can use. I also, again, this basket is from the dollar store, and these are from the dollar store. These are just little eggs that they had at the dollar store, so we can use those. And he can just put 1 egg on each basket to count. So 1, 2, 3, 4. They're going to roll a little bit. Whoops. They're going to roll a little bit, but that's okay. That helps them use his fine motor skills to try to keep them on. 5, 6. All right, so there's 6 there, and then he would find his number 6 block and place it on just like that. Super cute. Or we can use these other little eggs that I have. I don't know if they'll stay a little bit. Yeah, they stay a little bit better. And they don't roll. So yeah, he could put these on there and count as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get the idea. All right, so that's what we'll be doing with this activity. And there's, you know, other ones here. More bunnies, more chicks we can count. Here's some eggs we can count. This one was supposed to be counting by 10s, but obviously we'll just count the eggs, and we'll be counting by 1s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and he'll put the 7 there. So, yep, that will be a lot of fun. Let's move on to the next activity. All right, keeping with our counting theme, I took out some of our activity cards. These are matching activity cards that you're supposed to match the word to the number. So 3, they would find 3, and they would mark it on the card. They would mark the word. Now, he's not reading yet, so he doesn't really need to be doing that, but he can work on counting with these, and then I can tell him which one it is. I can say, this says 7. So what we're going to do with these ones is, and these come in an activity card pack that works on all sorts of different math activities. I will be linking everything in the description box below so that you can take a look at it and get it for yourself if you're interested. So this says 5, so he's going to count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like that. Okay, and then the last thing he can do is he can look in his number box. We can, for this activity, we might use these number bean bags, and he can place the number 5 on top of the number 5 and match it up. So there you go, he has 5 objects, and we'll just do the same thing with the rest of the cards. You know, we have all the cards to 10 in here. Okay, this is the last counting activity, and then we'll get into some alphabet things. But I've shown this activity before in some of my toddler and preschool activity videos. This one is really great for preschoolers because it's working on one-to-one correspondence. Or actually, I should say toddlers, even younger ones. But in here, it has counting friends. I've shown this in other videos. So it has like a caterpillar and a mouse. Oops, you can't see that. A mouse with his cheese and a dog with his bones, and a monkey with bananas, and there's another caterpillar, and then but since it had a bunny with the carrots, I thought that would be a great one for spring and Easter time. And so I decided what we'll do is we'll just do this one and probably do it with my toddlers, my little guys. And what we'll do is we'll use our manipulatives to count to 10. So this one is one-to-one correspondence. So it already has 10 carrots and it already has the numbers on there. And all they have to do is match it up. Now I don't have any carrots, but I can also show you. So I showed you the different manipulatives we have. We have, you know, I showed you these guys and I showed you these ones. And I showed you our 2 baskets with the eggs. So we can use any of those, or another option you have as well, if you have ever seen with the crafts, they have these little foam stickers. We love to use these as our little manipulatives as well. So we could count with these, and you can just put like a little, you know, he could put like a little bunny or a little chick on each one and count 1, 2, and so on. Maybe an egg, 3. Here's another bunny, 4. You get the idea. They're just going to one-to-one correspondence, and they're just going to count 5, 9, 10. Okay, so just using any kind of objects so that they can count. They can also do the same thing with the numbers. So they're doing one-to-one correspondence with objects, but then they can do it with numbers as well. So if you have number blocks or whatever you have, they can count 1 and just match it up. 2 to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 4. So they're recognizing their numerals, and they're also counting objects. So yeah, so we're going to be doing that just with this little card. We're probably only going to do the bunny in this time because I'm trying to keep with our little spring theme here. All right, let's move on to some alphabet activities. Okay, this next activity is an alphabet activity, and it comes from my phonics for reading curriculum. It comes from the very first unit. The first unit is all about the alphabet. And these are just fill it in strips where you fill in the alphabet letters. And I just chose 2 of them. I have one for every single letter of the alphabet. So there's C for cat, and there's R. They're not in order. Q for queen. Okay, I just chose 2 of them. Now what the students are supposed to do is they're supposed to fill them in with letters, either magnetic letters or whatever letters you have, and they fill in the capital and the lowercase letter that matches the picture. So this one would be E for elephant, and this one would be T for turtle, obviously. And here I just going to show you the letters that I chose. I chose to use some puzzle letters because I have capitals and lowercase. So there's capital B and lowercase b, see that? So I chose to use these for this activity. And you can do this with magnetic letters too. You can find magnetic letters even at the dollar store. They don't have to be expensive. So what I did is I just chose 2 of them because I'm going to have him do 2 at a time. And then I chose, I got some little, Easter eggs that you open. And I put the letters in there that he might need to use for this. So what he will do is he will choose an egg. He'll open it. He'll see what letter it is. This is lowercase e. Lowercase e goes with elephant, and it goes in this box. E for elephant. And then he'll choose another one. So let's open this one and see what letter we have. We have capital E, E for elephant, and then that one is finished. And of course, he'll choose another one, and he may choose them in different order. Doesn't matter. So there's T, capital T goes here. And then in this egg, obviously, is lowercase t. Lowercase t goes there. So that is how he will complete this activity. And then after he does that, we can choose 2 more cards, and I can put those letters in the eggs, and then he can find them and put them where they go, and we can talk about the sounds. T for turtle, turtle. E for elephant, elephant, and so on. But I just thought I'd make it kind of go with our spring theme by hiding them in the eggs. So there you go. Let's go on to the next activity. Okay, this next activity also comes from my phonics for reading curriculum. These are the fill it in mats, and basically they practice the letter sounds, the letters, and then they also practice some fine motor skills. So here, for example, is the letter C, and then it has a cat. It has a picture there for each of the letter sounds. The students can trace the letters like this one you can see. We traced it at one time. Or they can fill them in. So let's see. Let's just choose A for our example. So you would say A is for apple. Apple. All right, now let's fill it in. And they can use any manipulatives you want. Since I'm trying to keep with our spring theme, that's what we would do. So let's do that. So they're going to just use their little manipulatives and fill in the letter A. And they're going to say A is for apple. Let's fill in our letter A. And they're working on their fine motor skills. They have to use their manipulatives, keep them standing up, and fill it in. It's just kind of a little fun activity for them to do. They fill it in like this. Now, if you didn't laminate your cards, you could also have them use like little pom-poms and glue it on as like a little craft. You could get little red apples and have them glue them on, however you want to do. But I want to do our little spring theme. And so that's what it would look like when they were done. They would just fill it in with just little objects. And every time they place the object, I forgot to say, every time they place the object, they have to say, A says A. A says A for apple. A says A for apple. And they're supposed to say that as they put their little objects on. So, working on fine motor, working on the letter sounds. Okay, this next activity is called Alphabet Match, or Alpha Match. And you're supposed to match the cards, and then you're supposed to trace the letter on this mat. But he can't trace yet, especially not letters that small. So I'm going to just adapt it for my littler ones. But he can match. So what you do is you have the alphabet cards, or the picture cards, excuse me. And then you have the alphabet letter cards. So there's like the letter D. So what I did is I chose 6 picture cards and I laid them out here. And then I'm going to give him the letter choices. So I'll give him the 6 cards and he's going to put them where they go. So C is for cake. K is for kangaroo. B is for ball. He's just going to match them up. And you get the idea. E is for elephant. Okay, and then A and F for fish. All right, so then I'm going to take it one step further after he's matched them up, and I'm going to have him find the lowercase letters. So all of the cards come with the uppercase letter. So I'm going to use our little letter manipulatives that I have over here, and we are just going to find the lowercase letters. So once he has done this, then he will find the lowercase b, and match that up, and lowercase a, and match up lowercase a, and he's going to find lowercase e, you get the idea, and match them up. So we are not only practicing matching our letter sounds, E for elephant to the E, we're also practicing matching up upper and lowercase letters. So that's what he is going to do with this activity. Again, I'm going to leave links to all of these activities in the description box below where you can check them out. Okay, this is one of our pre-K summer review books, and obviously it's not summer, and obviously we're not reviewing, but we can still use this activity book because it has some great resources in it, and it doesn't have to be summer to do it. So this book, this in particular one, works on initial sounds. And so I pulled this one out because I thought it was another great alphabet one that we could do. What the children are supposed to do is they're supposed to cover up, well, it says say the beginning sounds and then color the letter box that makes the beginning sound. So they would use a dry erase marker and they would color the box in. But I'm going to just have him use manipulatives and cover up the one that he that matches. So this is an umbrella. He's supposed to say umbrella. Okay, now what letter says for umbrella? And he's going to cover up the letter U like that. And again, we're going to use our little spring manipulatives here. So then he would go on to pizza. Pizza. Pizza begins with P. And you just cover it up like that. So, or again, they can use dry erase markers and they can color it in. If you've laminated these, now I laminated them and then I placed them onto a book ring because it's just like a little flip book. So they can just kind of flip through the different pages. And then at the back of this particular book, they can also use magnetic letters, or if they're writing, they can write in the letter. So this is R for rug, and they would write it in R, or M for map, or they can use their magnetic letters to fill them in. He's not quite there yet. Well, I guess if we did it together and I said zip, Z is for zip, he could find the Z and put it in there out of his magnetic letters. But yeah, so that's what's in the back of this one. Each of these activity books has 2 different activities in it. Again, I'll leave a link below to these as well. Okay, friends, this activity is one of my seasonal spring activities. It was typically meant for kindergarten or first grade, but again, I'm going to just kind of adapt it for my younger ones. And this is called Spin and Build a Short Vowel Word. So they're supposed to be practicing words. We're going to kind of do that, but it's going to be more of an alphabet type of activity. So this activity comes with these mats. This is the letter A for short vowel A. This is E, I, so it's all the vowels, O and U. And they're all spring themed, so they've got the flowers there. And then it comes with letters. So each of the letters, the alphabet letters, are in a flower for our spring theme. Now, I forgot to take out my pocket chart, but what I would probably do is put these letters in a pocket chart so it's easy for him to see them and grab what he needs. And then what he does is he spins the spinner. So basically, I just attach the spinner with some tape. I put a little piece of tape on there so that way I can remove it if I want. So just a little piece of Scotch tape, and it stays. And then he's going to spin it, and then whatever one it lands on. So it landed on bat. So we're going to spell out the word bat with our flowers here. And so what I would do is, to adapt this for him, I might take a dry erase marker and write B-A-T, bat, say B-at, and then I would have him say the sound and say the letters, because he can do that. And then I would have him match up the letters to it. And I forgot to grab my dry erase marker as well. Sorry, guys. This is what happens when you have 8 kids. You sometimes forget a lot. So anyways, that's what I'll probably do for him. Now, for a student that doesn't need that, they would just take their letters and then they would put them in the right spots. So let's see here. All right, so we have B-A-T. Now, for this particular activity, when you're working with an older student, all of the vowels are red, and so you can talk about that. And then you've got your consonants. You can talk about all of that kind of stuff with an older child. But for my purposes, we're just going to be matching up the letters and saying the word. So this is the word bat. So that way he can recognize letters actually make words, and we can talk about that a little bit. So B, and he'll say B, and I'll say A, he'll say A, T, T. This says bat, bat. See the bat? So he'll make a connection between the picture and the word. So that's kind of what we're going to do. And again, I will probably write the letters with a dry erase marker here, then he'll just match up the flower to the B, and match up the A to the A, and match up the T to the T. And then I will erase those, and when we go to do another one. And he will love spinning this. This will be very, very fun. So this time it landed on hat, or you could even do cap, either one. And then, so C. All right, so there we have C-A-P. You get the idea. And so we can do this with the other mats as well. So I can just move my spinner over to this one, and we can make short I words. So he would spin again, and we could do the word, you know, pig or whatever it lands on. So yeah, this one has mats for all the different vowels. It's a fun activity to also do with older students who can spin it, find the word, and make the word themselves without any kind of extra help. All right, guys, that is the last activity I have planned out for the next week or two with my little ones. I don't know if I've mentioned it in other videos, but we do sometimes redo these activities and practice over and over again if it's a skill that I notice my students need more practice in, and so on. So don't feel like after you use the activity, you just put it away and never do it again. We bring them out again and again, and we redo them and practice them, and it's a lot of fun. All right, guys, we will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.